Welcome. It's your man God of Docs back with another NFL breakdown for you. Hope everybody had a good day. I know that I did. Thank you for always remember to like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. It is very much appreciated on this channel, if nowhere else. All right, so this week we have been breaking down the NFC South. I want to get into some housekeeping while we do that. We've already had the Atlanta Falcons. We've already had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We've already had the Carolina Panthers earlier this week. We're going to end off the week just right as far as the NFC South is concerned, talking about the New Orleans Saints. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. We're going to do like the weekly wrap up, all NFL news, latest breaking news. Like I said, I've been talking about it all week. And I wanted to really sit down and dedicate a whole show in regards to the running back market, what changes may be coming down. How you doing, Ms. Murphy? Listen from the clouds. It's always appreciated. Yeah, want to do that tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. And then next week, due to one of our long-standing subscribers, she wants to know about her Jacksonville Jaguars. So next week we'll, instead of doing the NFC South this week, next week AFC South. Some interesting storylines going on in the AFC South, and we're going to kind of break it down starting next week. I'm not sure what order. Hey, I'll flip a coin. We're going to get through all of them next week, and we're going to continue doing this as training camps get rolling. And the NFL season is upcoming. I want to say first week of September kickoff. Hopefully by then we'll be done with all the breakdowns and all keep you updated on all the latest news and goings on. So let's get into it. Wrapping up the NFC South is the New Orleans Saints, and like I've been saying all week, if you've been listening to the shows, if not, go back and check them out. As I've been saying all week, I can make a case for every team in this division. This is why I wanted to start with this division. I think this division is the most up in the air. Is no consensus favorite. It is no clear cut head at the table. Especially with Tom Brady retiring this offseason, everybody's kind of like on even playing field. They have their pluses, they have their minuses, but we're going to really focus in on the New Orleans Saints, who, in my opinion, is one of the two teams in this division that I can make a strong case for. I can make a very strong case for walking away as the division winner at the end of the year. New Orleans being one, Carolina being the other. Reason why I had Carolina, if you caught that show, hopefully you did. If you didn't, go back, check it out. Reason why I picked Carolina, best defense in the division. And when I'm picking the New Orleans Saints, I have to say from top to bottom, the best offensive personnel. I will say that. Offensive personnel in the division. And it starts and ends as always with the quarterback position. New Orleans, after trying to take some Hill project, Jameis Winston, struggling through his injury concerns. Andy Dalton getting some burn last year. They dipped a little bit and spent a little, and made a move and brought in Derek Carr. Derek Carr, a former Pro Bowl quarterback of the Raiders. Clearly, as it stands right now, head and shoulders the best quarterback in the division, and it's not even close. Now, I'm not going to say that same. I'm not going to be able to put my faith behind that statement. How you doing, Ms. Keeper? I'm not going to put my faith behind that statement years down the road because, hey, I think Bryce Young has a chance to be a very special quarterback. But as it stands this year, New Orleans has the best quarterback by a mile. Derek Carr is a very efficient quarterback, not really turnover prone, won't put the ball in harm's way as much. He's not electrifying, but Derek Carr is a very good quarterback, worthy of being a starter quarterback on a lot of teams, worthy of being a starting quarterback on a lot of teams. New Orleans finally has got a real good quarterback and hasn't had one since the days of Drew Brees. I like Jameis Winston, physically talented, not the best decision maker on or off the field. Taysom Hill, as much as you try to make this guy a gadget player, that does not fly in the NFL. A wildcat formation here or there, but you can't base your offense with the talent level and skill set of a Taysom Hill. It's just not that good of a quarterback. But they went out and upgraded, brought in Derek Carr. And when you look at this offense from top to bottom, you're going to start with the running back position. And even though Alvin Kamara is possibly in line to be suspended for the first 6 games of the season due to small field issues, with the combination of Alvin Kamara, that more shifty outside of the tackles running back, and then they brought in, Jamal Williams, formerly of the Detroit Lions, who, if you watched Detroit last year, um, Jamal Williams was a touchdown machine. I like the mix of having a Kamara, having a Jamal Williams. Reminds me of the early days of Kamara's career when he was teamed up with a Mark Ingram back there. I like that mix of having both of those, and both guys are talented. Jamal Williams in his own special way, Kamara in his own special way. Um, it's good to have Jamal Williams in house with the pending, and I'm going to say pending because you know how the NFL is once the rumor gets out there that they're looking at a guy for possible suspension, you're just waiting for the hammer to come down. And come on, I think in the long term, they'll be fine as far as the running game concerned. And when we're talking about the rest of the offense, probably the most talented receiving core in the division. You can make a case for Tampa Bay with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. But when you're able to roll out Chris Olave, or Michael Thomas, Rashid Shaheed, I do like the draft pick they brought in, A.T. Perry. I think he'll find some way to get involved in the offense. I did like what I saw last year from Traquan Smith, filling in for the injured Thomas. Question mark you got to have with the wide receiver core is Michael Thomas going to be healthy, and is Michael Thomas going to be engaged? There was a lot of talk this offseason, then possibly moving on from a Michael Thomas due to the price tag of him. When healthy and engaged, he's still one of, how about the Cowboys? Cowboys will be a couple weeks down the road. But it's always about the boys. But I got to give every team they shine as I kind of go through team by team breakdown. Everybody's got their phase, but y'all know my boys are my boys. But when we're talking about, like I said, Michael Thomas, when he's engaged, when he's healthy, I'm still one of the best receivers in the league. I still say he's a top 20 when he's healthy and engaged. And having a quarterback like Derek Carr, making the decisions, being able to spread the ball around. Derek Carr has played with talented players. I don't think he's going to be a big drop off from his production level. I think he played well enough to stay with the Raiders, but hey, they decided to go a different direction, went with Jimmy G. We'll talk about that later. Later on as we break down the Raiders in a future episode. But, when we're rounding out the offense, you've heard me talk about this on all the shows earlier this week. It starts in the trenches on both sides of the ball. And when you look at the offensive line for the New Orleans Saints, one of the better, not only offensive lines in the division, but also one of the better offensive lines, in the NFL. I think they're going to be able to keep Derek Carr upright. I think they're going to be able to open up running lanes. I think what held New Orleans back last year was quarterback play. And I felt like they had to go out and upgraded that position to take advantage of the weapons that they do have. Because when you're talking about the offensive talent, no other team, and I'm talking about as far as proven, I'm not talking about projected, no other team has as much offensive talent at those skill positions. They have the best quarterback, arguably, not arguably, but the best running back as far as Alvin Kamara is concerned. The depth at wide receiver, the talent level they have at wide receiver, the best. Questions you're gonna have with the Saints going forward. You're good on one side of the ball, okay on the other, but I think they made a lot of moves in the offseason to address that side of the ball. Brought in some guys that are not household names, that are not guys who are going to jump off the paper to you unless you're a Saints fan. You're not going to know who these guys are. But I do like, I do like the guys that they drafted. They had a very good draft, by my opinion, very underrated. Very, very underrated draft. I do like Brian Breesy coming in from Clemson, playing for a championship program. I think he's going to be able to played. They got him slotted in at DT. I think he's going to be able to kind of move inside and outside depending on the rush packages that they have. Like I said, they did bring in some guys that just, like I said, they're not going to jump off the page to you. A guy like a Malcolm Roach or Nathan Shepard, formerly of the Jets. These guys are not going to jump off the page to you, but they're big bodies up front that can handle the load. You still have Cameron Jordan, though older, is still playing at a sufficient and high enough level. The question I have is on the other side of Cameron Jordan. Cameron Jordan is going to demand double teams. I think if I'm the Saints, they're rolling out a new defensive coordinator this year, so I'm not sure what that defense is going to look like once they get on the field. But from him, I'm going to try to take advantage of my first round pick, Brian Breesy, play him opposite of Cam Jordan, just kind of throw bodies in the middle and allow him to he has pass rush talent. Allow him to work in more one-on-one situations because Cameron Jordan, despite being advanced in age, still one of the better edge rushers in the league, one of the better running defenders at his position. And, when we're talking about defense, you got to, have it at all three levels. I think outside of Demario Davis, who is still playing at an elite level, a lot of people don't know about him unless you're a true football fan. He's not going to make the highlight reel. He's not a talker. You don't hear much about him. Just goes out there and plays and make Pro Bowl after Pro Bowl after Pro Bowl. I do like him working in the middle, but he is a much older player. And eventually you're going to have some drop off. Excuse me. You're going to have some drop off. It's going to happen eventually. It's going to have some drop off. When you look at the rest of the linebacker core, some talent, but it's none of these guys are jumping off the page to me. Let me know that, hey, they're ready to step up and bring that ferocity from the linebacker position. I mean, there are some pieces. I mean, there are some good guys. Hopefully, Demario Davis, if you're a Saints fan, I hope he has another Pro Bowl type year, and those guys are not placed up under any pressure. I do like the secondary from top to bottom, one of the better secondaries, not only in the division, also in the conference. I think Marshawn Lattimore is due for a bounce back year. He had an okay year last year, but not to his standard. I do like Tyrann Mathieu. Another year in that system. I do like Marcus May back there with him. Good safety duo. Question you got to have with this defense is, what scheme are they trying to run? Are they still going to be trying to run a 4-3 with a new defensive coordinator? Are these guys going to be able to pick up what they're putting down? Sometimes you see teams struggle when we're bringing in new defensive coordinators, brings in new schemes. I saw that a couple of years ago with my Cowboys, ended up getting that guy fired. It happens. It happens. Hopefully they've had enough time to kind of work on it, but we'll see. We will see, but I like New Orleans. New Orleans is one of my sleeper teams to possibly I'm gonna have to brush up on my football viewers. New Orleans is one of my sleeper teams as far as if they get into the playoffs, could make some noise. Like I said, I like Derek Carr. He's not going to jump off the page to you, but I mean, how many elite quarterbacks are in the NFC when you really break it down? How many elite quarterbacks can you really name? 5 quarterbacks in the NFC that are clearly better than Derek Carr. I can't, off the top of my head, I can't think of 5 that I can say are clear cut. The NFC is not known. Well, so I'm not gonna say not known, but as of lately, most of the best quarterbacks are in the AFC. Derek Carr kind of struggled playing against those elite quarterbacks. I think he has a better opportunity in New Orleans. I think New Orleans defense is just good enough. If those guys have bounce back years, those guys stay healthy. You do have older players on that defense. If some of those young guys step up, some of those unsung players step up, you may be looking at the division champ. Keep. Bears get no mention. Keep. Okay, so this is how the format is going. Keep. For those who are new to the show, this is how the format is going. Week by week, until the NFL season starts, I will be doing a division breakdown of each team in that division for that week. So from Monday through Thursday, All the teams in that division will be doing a in-depth analysis of um, what they look like going into this upcoming season. Like I said, training camp starts on the 25th for all players. Rookies are already in camp. Young players are already in camp. Um, but we'll be doing a division breakdown. Then on Friday, we'll do a division wrap up. I'll make my final. I ain't gonna say my final. I will make my final. I will make my pick for the division winner based on where the team is at now. Now, as we get closer to the season, injuries happen, moves are made. I'm going to have to look at that as far as my final picks for the seasons, because I know she's out there listening. I know she's going to catch the replay. Gator Girl is going to hold me to all my picks, so I want to make sure before the season kicks off, I have looked at all transactions. I have looked at all moves, all injury reports, and I will make my final preseason picks going into the season. So that's how, are you saving the NFC East for last? No, I am not saving the NFC East for last, because matter of fact, we got some NFC East news tomorrow when we're talking about Saquon Barkley in the running back market. We do have some news with the Cowboys as far as what's going on with Zach Martin. Will he or will he not be at camp? Will they make some moves to pay him? That's a whole separate discussion. But no, I will not be saved. I will not be saving them for last. If you want, Gator Girl has already got the AFC South next week. If you want to follow that up with the NFC East, I'm more than happy to do that. I'm ready to do, like I said, team by team breakdowns. I'm just gonna let you guys know. You see the star on your screen. Don't get mad when the Cowboys team by team breakdown is a little bit longer and a little bit more in depth. So that means I'm gonna have to take time from some other teams in that division, namely the Eagles. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Let me get a sip of water. I'm sorry. So just don't get upset. Don't get upset. But yeah, I have New Orleans, and if I'm breaking it down early, I'll do an official breakdown of the division. I think it's going to be a battle. New Orleans and Carolina. I think Carolina clearly, to me, talked about him, has the best defense. What they do at the quarterback position is the biggest question for me. With New Orleans, new defensive coordinator, is the defense going to be able to step up to the challenge? Will Derek Carr take full advantage of the weapons that he has in New Orleans? And what's going on with Kamara? What's going to happen with Kamara? How, if he's suspended for 6 games, how does that change the scope of how their season kind of starts? But we'll kind of get into that tomorrow. Just make sure you do right by my Eagles. Of course, I have been studying your Eagles, or as I like to call them, Georgia North. For all the Georgia players they have drafted over the years. I think if you go back to my shows last week, if you haven't watched them, go back and watch them. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I did my tier 1 contenders, and I did my tier 2 contenders last week. I clearly had the Philadelphia Eagles as part of my tier 1 contenders as far as the NFC East is concerned. It's not much to hate. And trust me, I want to hate on the Eagles because I am a Cowboys fan. I want to hate on the Eagles, and while I'm in this role, I can't, but when I'm off the mic, I will be dogging the Eagles out for every failure, every fumble, every interception. That's just in my nature. I do not like other teams in my division. So forgive me if I'm a little harsh during that week when we're doing the NFC East and showing a little extra love to them boys. It is what it is. Cry me a river. Leave me a comment and cry me a river. But yes. Also, I'm doing way too much. I'm thinking of when the season starts. I want, I like input from people that watch, and all that good stuff. I'm thinking about once the season starts, I want to do a Monday recap show. And it's going to be a little bit longer show because I want to kind of like do a game by game breakdown. I'm thinking about having a little highlights, playing in the background, something like that. That's a little work, but this thing. I do want to do the Monday show. How I want to format it is I don't know. I want to do the Monday wrap up. And if you've been following me from the other space when I used to do sports over there, shout out to y'all. Y'all know I used to do the show on Monday, for the Sunday games, and I want to say Thursday, right before the kickoff for the Thursday night game, um, and do that preview for that particular game and giving you any NFL news in regards that has happened over that. I'm excited for this upcoming season. I think this, the NFL is always when the season gets ready to come around. Every team has hope. Every team has a chance if certain things go their way. You can make a case for every team having a winning record. Well, I can say every team. Most teams having a winning record. But every team comes in with the hopes of improving, hopes of getting further than they did last season. And we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I just told my brother about your channel. He's a sports head too. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Keep it. Just spread love. Spread love. We keep it corporate and clean over here. While I'm talking about that, I enjoyed your conversation earlier today. I thought that was a very dope conversation. I like that. I like to see more of those kind of conversations. Just grown people having grown folks conversation. I really enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed it. But yeah, tomorrow, like I said, we'll be back same bat time over here. Give you my pick for the division. If you missed, the early episodes and if I skipped over your team and you're an NFC South fan, go back, check it out. It's still up on the channel. And we'll get into that and get into more NFL news. And then next week, AFC South is Jacksonville for real, or is Tennessee ready to take over with the addition of D-Hop? We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Hopefully you're there for it. Remember to always like, share, subscribe. It's always appreciated over here. And the phrase that pays over here: sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but every time you learn. And I'm out.